Am I live? Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I am so sorry for hopping on here late. Every time I have a live stream, I don't know if I am jinxed by YouTube or by life in general. Every time I schedule a live stream, something always goes wrong. And I'm not even exaggerating. Even if you look at the streams that have been on this channel, every time a stream is supposed to start, there's always a problem. But don't despair. I am here. Can everybody hear me? Please just drop a message in the chat box, say hey, so I know that you can hear me. Someone, anyone? Oh, I see a hi. Hi. I'm so sorry for starting late, but let's get into it without wasting any more time. Let me just also put the stream up so I can see your comments. So, good afternoon to you all. I'm so honored to be speaking to you today. I don't take this opportunity lightly. To the many of you that can hear my voice, I appreciate you being here. I might be an admitted attorney, but I'm still your colleague. So don't be shy. Feel free to ask questions and mingle with other people in the comment section as well. Knowing people in this profession is key. It'll always be to your benefit. So I encourage you to write your location, email address, social media handles, your LinkedIn, put it in the comment section so that you can connect with other people and just broaden your horizons. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Shella, and I am an admitted attorney of the High Court of South Africa. I'm so passionate about helping lawyers break into the profession and also helping them explore non traditional careers. The truth is that not all of us are going to be practicing attorneys. Some of you are going to use your admission to be freelancers, to work in academia, or even corporate. So I'm the person who has decided not to go the traditional legal route, and I'm just lawyering outside of the lines. So today, my focus is on CV structuring. I've had the privilege of being involved in the process of selecting candidate attorneys. I have seen many CVs and I have seen stuff on CVs that is not supposed to be there. So, in today's class, I just want to help you structure your CV better and tell you what to include and what not to include. For many of you, this is your first real job. Like being a candidate attorney was for me, it was my first job. I'd never worked in my life. So you're probably not sure what to include if this is your first job. You don't know how a CV is supposed to look like. So don't worry. I'm here to tell you what should be in there and what shouldn't be in there. And funny story, when I was applying for articles of clerkship, I wrote on my CV that I'm a boxer. So I put it in there in my CV. I was so sure of myself that it's something that's going to, I don't know, make me stand out. It probably did because I got the job. But I remember this because now and again, when my then principal calls me, she'd call me Mike Tyson. So you guys don't want to be putting information that's unnecessary on your CVs. You will be getting nicknames that will stick with you forever. So let me just share my screen so that I can, yeah, so that we can start. Share screen, window, and same. Entire screen. Okay. Can everybody see the screen? Please just write in the comments. Please just write in the comment. Has my screen been shared? No, doesn't look like it. Um, sorry, let me just Share entire screen. There we go. Okay. Yay. Okay, we are good. We are good. So this is just my little hangout, guys. This is informal. So please just like write your questions and write stuff in the chat box, so I also don't feel like I'm speaking alone. So today I'll be helping you structure your CV. Like I said, I'm an attorney, I'm a content creator, I'm also a mentor. You can get hold of me. That's my email address, and that's also my LinkedIn profile. And you can just, search me on LinkedIn and you'll find me, and I'll be happy to connect with you. Alrighty, so today we'll be focusing on how to structure your CV to candidate attorney roles. We'll also be doing a practical CV exercise where I'll be giving you a mock CV, and then we can go through it so we can discuss what should be there, what shouldn't be there, what is right in that CV, and what is wrong. And then there'll also be a Q&A session where you can ask your questions about the profession in general and the candidate attorney role. So once upon a time, I was a candidate attorney, and, this was quite unfortunate, but I didn't really have anyone who I could ask questions. I didn't have anyone at my disposal to help me. I did not have, much support. So I just decided to, be a mentor and do these classes so that I can help somebody and just be that attorney that I wish I knew when I was a candidate attorney. So please feel free to ask questions. Don't be shy. I can't see your face. I can only see your name. So don't be shy. And yeah, I hope I can get through many questions as possible throughout the session. All right, general tips for your CV. First thing first, don't lie in your CV. Don't make the mistake of lying. So once you finish with your articles of clerkship and you are applying to be admitted as an attorney, there is a requirement that you have to meet, and that is you being a fit and proper person. You might have heard this term or not, but you will come across it throughout, your period of articles of clerkship. And what this entails is that you need to portray characteristics of honesty and reliability. So honesty is a big thing in this profession. So if you're already lying on your CV before you even enter the profession, you are off to a bad start. So don't lie on your CV. The second thing is don't put irrelevant experiences on your CV. I know the pressure of wanting to have, work experience on your CV and wanting your CV to be full. But the truth is that you are not expected to have work experience because this is an entry level position and no one really has experience for candidate attorney roles. I mean, you've never been a candidate attorney, and even if you do get the role and become a candidate attorney, you'll never be a candidate attorney twice. So there really isn't any experience that you can gather that will, be what is needed to be a candidate attorney. No, you are there to learn. And your principal knows that. Your principal knows that you are fresh from university. Even if you're not, even if you do have, work experience, but you've never been in the legal profession in that sense. So don't put irrelevant experiences because you want to fill in your CV. Everyone who, goes through candidate attorney CVs knows that this is an entry level job and you're not really required to have experience. The next thing is to proofread your CV. Make sure that you have dotted the I's and scratched the T's because you are going to read a lot in this profession and you need to master the art of proofreading. So for me, what I do is after I've written a document, I'll proofread it and then I'll step away from the document for a little bit. So I will, give it like 30 minutes or 40 minutes or even a day, and then go back to the document and read it again. You'd be surprised at how different the document looks when you look at it after, some time has passed. So the art of proofreading is to draft as best as you can, give it a bit of time, and then go back to the document and see if it is accurate. The next important thing This one I cannot stress enough, and that is your CV must look professional because you're expected to know how to type. So having a badly typed document is a huge red flag. So remember that the people that you're sending the CV to are people who are used to reading documents. So if your CV is not justified, or the space is inconsistent, or the font is inconsistent, it really is visible. Like by just looking at it, you can already see that this CV is not looking the way it's supposed to look. And because there's a lot of people who are applying for the role, you don't want to make silly mistakes, because silly mistakes can easily take you out of the process easily. Think about it this way: the person who's reading your CV probably has like over 200 other CVs to look at. And if you are lucky enough to have your CV looked at by a human being, don't let silly mistakes take you out of the process. I just want to emphasize also that there are some companies or some firms, some law firms, sorry, that use an application tracking system. So with an application tracking system, right? That's where you send your CV on the websites, like the law firm websites, and then you upload your CV there. If your CV is not professional and it doesn't have the right keywords, I'm also touching on point number 5. If it doesn't have the right keywords and it's not looking professional, chances of it getting to a real human being are very slim. Those chances are very slim, because what the application tracking system does is it scans your CV, and if your CV meets the requirements, that's when somebody on the other end can actually read it. So you don't want your application to not even pass the tracking system. But if you are applying to a law firm that still uses an email address where you can send your application via email address, that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be professional or that you shouldn't use keywords. But I'm just saying that that requirement is much more stricter where there is an application tracking system. And then, yes, like I said, now use keywords, because that shows that you have read the job description and you know exactly what you are applying for. What employers like to look at also is generic CVs. If you send through a generic CV, like you draft a CV and that's your CV for every single post, you are not going the right route, because every job description is different. So every employer would want to see that you have read the job description and you have tailored your CV to that which they require. And if you just send a general CV everywhere, that's something that you should not do. And then number 6 is, please aim for one page on your CV. Like I said on point number 2, you're not really required to have much experience. So I don't know what you'd be writing that'll be taking like 2 pages, if I'm being honest with you. I really don't know what would be in the CV for it to be 2 pages. But if it does exceed 1 page, let it not exceed two. Two is the maximum. Let it just be 2 pages, but aim for one. And then the next thing, super important, is to include your contact details. Include a working phone number. A phone number that if they call you, they will find you. I know that, a lot of people use emails now. Your email address is like so important, and you're most probably going to get an email. But I must tell you that there's been times where I have applied for jobs and I've gotten calls. Where I did my articles of clerkship, they informed me that I got the role via phone call. They called me the next day after my interview to tell me that I got the job. So put a working phone number just in case they do call you. You don't want to be that person that, employers are trying to reach you and they can't find you. So put a working phone number. And then the next thing is put an email address on your CV, one that looks professional. This sexybabe0395 at gmail.com or Shella the boss babe at gmail.com. No, that one is not going to cut it. Your email needs to look professional. So just have your first name and your last name at whatever domain you have. So, first name, last name at outlook.com or at gmail.com. And if you don't have that kind of email yet, make sure that you hop onto Gmail or Outlook or whatever domain that you can find that is free to use and just create a better looking email address. And then the next important thing is your LinkedIn profile. Put a link to your LinkedIn profile on your CV. With this, make sure that your LinkedIn profile is fully optimized. You don't want a LinkedIn profile that does not represent you well. And I have a LinkedIn optimization masterclass where I share literally all you need to know about your LinkedIn profile, from creating a professional banner to writing the sections well and including the relevant keywords to your industry and just optimizing your profile. I have these classes every Saturday morning. If you're interested in coming for the LinkedIn optimization masterclass, it's a virtual class. It's a virtual class. And if you're interested, please pop me an email and I will send you further details. So, yes, put all of that on your CV. And then exclude the following information in your CV: your personal information, your marital status, ID number, residential address, religion, and things of that sort. You can put the city in which you reside, so that the employer can see that you'll be able to commute to work, but don't put your residential address. And then pictures. Don't put your picture on your CV unless it's requested by your employer. Sometimes they do request, but it is very rare, like really rare, for that to be requested. But if, in the event that it is requested, then you'll have to send it through. But where it's not requested, don't put it in there. And then political affiliations. We are going to vote in a couple of days. Some people feel strongly about their political parties, but your CV is not the right platform to express that love for political parties. So don't put that in your CV. Alrighty. So far, are we all on the same page? Are we good? You can put a thumbs up or like some emoji. Are we okay, guys? Okay, I'm gonna guess that we are still fine. Okay, perfect. There's a thumbs up. Thank you. All right. So what's the purpose of your CV? The purpose of your CV is to present you to your potential employer as the most qualified candidate for the role. So even when you draft your CV, put it in the back of your mind that you want the person who is reading your CV to see you as the best candidate for this role. So you need to highlight your soft skills and you also need to highlight your hard skills. So soft skills are, personality traits like being teachable, punctual, and having communication skills, while your hard skills relate to specific knowledge or training. And then the sections to include in your CV are your summary section, skills, experience, educations and associations. You can also include societies that you were part of, like the Golden Key Society. And then references. Oh, let me remove this thing. And references. Let's settle this once and for all. Should you include references in your CV? Is it a yes or is it a no? Yes or no, guys? Should we put references in our CVs? Is that required? All right, if you're not sure about that answer, you do not need to include references in your CV. as they are not needed at that stage of the recruitment process. I see Kilebuhile says if they are requested, absolutely. Only if they are requested, but in most instances, references are not required at that stage of the recruitment process. And also remember the POPI Act, the Protection of Personal Information Act. You don't want to be just putting down people's personal information and sending it everywhere. So when the time comes, your employer or the recruiter is going to ask you for references. So you don't need to put references in your CV. All right. So first thing now is summary. What should you include in the summary section? So in your summary section, you need to include an introduction and education. So begin by introducing yourself as a recent law graduate and briefly mention where you obtained your degree. And then key skills and knowledge. Highlight the key skills and knowledge you've gained through your legal education. You must link this to the required skills in the job description. So don't just put skills for the sake of putting skills. Rather, tailor your skills or express your skills in a way that aligns with what the job description says. And then the third thing is personal attributes or soft skills. Because you have put the hard skill, which is your degree, now it's time for your soft skill. So emphasize personal attributes or soft skills that are important in the legal profession, such as attention to detail, critical thinking, and communication skills. Like I said, you tailor it to, you know, what the job description says. And then the next thing is career objectives or aspirations. So include a sentence about your career objectives or aspirations to show your enthusiasm for entering the legal field. So here is what you can write in your summary. Of course, this is going to differ from application to application, but something along the lines of recent law graduate with a Bachelor of Laws LLB degree from X university, possessing a solid understanding of legal principles, research methodologies, and case analysis, completed coursework in contract law, constitutional law, and legal writing, demonstrating proficiency in legal research and analysis, strong analytical skills combined with excellent written and verbal communication abilities, seeking to leverage academic knowledge and skills to contribute effectively as a legal professional in a dynamic law firm. So obviously, like I said, those skills will vary from post to post. But essentially, this is, what you can write in your summary, in your professional summary. Are we together? Are we together, guys? Okay. So that's the first part. We have covered the summary. So the next thing is your skills. So this is the structure that you need to follow. I think these are the sections that must be in your CV. So we have dealt with summary. Now we are coming to skills. Skills. So align your skills with the skills listed in the job description, like I have been saying, and don't just list the skills. So don't just write communication skill, research skills, punctual, ability to adapt to new environments. Don't just write that. That's blank. That's not telling, the other person anything about you. But rather write it in a way that shows its application. So for example, you can write excellent verbal and written communication skills to convey complex legal concepts clearly and engagingly to students from diverse backgrounds and learning styles. So for example, if you were, let's say, a tutor, then you can write something along these lines, because the skills that you have harnessed through tutoring involves, writing and also communicating verbally. And this would fit perfectly if you were once a tutor or a mentor or something along those lines in university. So that is what you put. Don't just put communication skill, this skill, that skill, that skill. No, don't put it like that, but write it in a sentence just to show how it applies. So your skills section can have about 3 to 5 skills, written out as these types of sentences. Okay, can we please look at the last 2 bullets on experience? This was supposed to be on the previous slide. Because I started late and there was an issue with connectivity, I see that my changes were not saved. So, for example, if you were a content writer, you've got legal research skills, you can write that you've got legal research skills. Don't just write legal research skills, you'll just write legal research skills demonstrated by my ability to research an array of topics and write articles in a manner that is comprehensible for law students. The next point, which is the last one, ability to multitask and prioritize daily workload while maintaining high quality standards. So those are things that you can put as skills. Please, guys, I'm looking at the last 2 points. Due to network issues before I started, my changes were not saved. So the last 2 points here on experience should have been on skills. Do you understand? So write it in this way. Write it in this way in your CV. Is this section also applicable to those seeking vacation work? The experience section. No, no, no. Usually for vacation programs, I see that a lot of people will just, a lot of firms, sorry, a lot of firms will just request you to, just write why you want to do vacation work there, not so much a CV, because there isn't really much to write, especially if you're a student. But if you are applying to a firm and they want you to have a CV, on here you can put, if you have ever done vacation work, you can put it in there. Or if you've got leadership roles in university, then you can put experience on there. Then you can say, if maybe I was once part of some committee in first year. It's been a while. I can't remember what that committee was, but I was part of some committee in first year. And that's what I had on my CV when I did my VAC work. Because where I did VAC work, they were like, bring a CV. And I was like, but anyway, so I put their leadership roles. So if you have any leadership roles, but if you don't, um, yeah, if you don't, you don't have to put anything on that experience section. You can just put, if you've been a tutor or whatever. So I hope that answers your question. So now the first 3 points, which fall for experience, like I said, the last 2 points are for skills. I emphasize again that you're not expected to have any work experience, and then you must put relevant work experiences that you have. So if the work experience that you have is not relevant to the legal profession or it's not relevant to this role, don't put it. So for example, if you were a dancer, you don't have to put that you were a dancer for the sake of having some or other work experience. Whatever experience that you put in there, the test is if the skills that you have gained through that job or fulfilling that role aligns or will show the recruiter or employer that you are the best candidate for the job, then put that experience. But if that experience is not going to let your employer know that you are the best candidate for the job, don't put the experience. I repeat, the test for experience is if your previous experience shows the employer or recruiter that you are the best candidate for the job, then you can put it in there. But if it doesn't, don't put it in there, because in any event, you are not required to have any work experience. Okay, and then yeah, put relevant leadership roles, activities, shadowing, or vacation work. For those of you that are staying in res. I know res has so many activities, and you're probably involved in one or another. You can put those in there, but if you don't stay in res, you don't really have activities. Or if you volunteer, let's say you volunteer at like a community shelter while you're still a student, I think you can write that on your experience. If where you are looking for vacation work, they want a CV. If they want a CV there, you can put such things like, you volunteer, just showing that you are holistic. But as for looking for candidate attorney roles, nah, you don't have to put like things that that you don't really have. Like you don't have to put work experience that you don't have. So are we together on experience? Are we cool? Is everyone fine with experience? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, perfect. Experience done. Now, education and associations. List your qualifications from newest to oldest. So, your most recent qualification will be the first qualification that is listed. So, some of you, it might be your master's degree, some of you, it's your LLB degree. So the newest one on top, and then the last one would be your matric. So if you've got your master's, then it will be something along the lines of your LLM and then your LLB, maybe BA law degree and BCom law degree, then matric certificate, like that. So starting from your degree, going all the way down to your matric certificate. Also put certifications. If you've got certification for anything that relates to the legal profession, or it'll look like it'll benefit the employer, put it in there. So for example, if you have a certificate from, let's say, the pro bono organization, you were like pro bono volunteer student champion of the year 2024, you can put it in there because it shows that you've had an interest in the legal profession and you've done stuff in the legal profession to show your interest therein. So you can put such stuff in there. You can list your associations and societies, like the Golden Key Society, like the when you are academically excellent, these societies that you're part of. I'm not really clued up on that because I was never part of such societies. Um, and then how you will write your qualification. Here's an example. So your LLB degree, how you'll write it in your CV, you will list it as Bachelor of Laws, LLB degree, University of Johannesburg, and then put the year in which you got the qualification. And then you can put the University of Johannesburg top 100 law students or whatever association or society that you're part of. You can put it there in the education system. I mean, in the education section. In the education section. So that is education and associations. Okay, so are we all okay on education and associations, or do we have questions? Oh, and I just want to say, if you have upgraded your matric results, you don't have to put like matric twice. Just put once. The ones you have upgraded, like the last certificate, not like two. Don't write it two times. Write it once. Are we okay on education and associations? Can I move on? Do you need to include your matric certificate? Yes. So put it in your CV. But when you send your CVs to your employers, you don't have to send your qualifications. You can send through your CV without attaching your qualifications, especially if you're sending the the CVs via email. At that point, really, they don't need to have your qualification. Your qualification only comes in later on in the recruitment process. So you don't have to attach it, but you must write that you have a matric certificate. Does that make sense? But also read the job description, because some job descriptions won't say anything about including your, your degrees and stuff. Then don't. But if they say, sometimes I see they like include your academic record as well, include this, include that. But if they expressly say it, then include your academic record and whatever else they require. But if they don't say it, you don't have to include it. Also, I just want to say, if you are sending through your application and you've got, documents that you must attach, I highly suggest that you compress everything into one document. So you can have your CV, then matric certificate, I mean, your highest one first being your degree or LLM, whatever, and then your matric certificate, then compress it into one document. Don't put it like in, when you attach things and you've got like five attachments in the email. I highly suggest that you put things, in one document. That's just my suggestion. But even if you put things like, even if you have like five attachments in there, I've never really heard anyone complain about that. But I just think it looks better when it's just one document that I have to read from an applicant. Because, when you look at applications for any job, you click on the email, open the email, you see the intro, the introduction that you have to write in the email, and then you go to the CV, and then you see all the things that are attached. You click and you open, and then you usually save it on your computer because you don't have time to be going always into your email app to read applications, email app, read applications. So what you do is you'll click on, that CV, and then you download it. If it has everything in one document, that makes things so much easier for the other person who is reading. So if you are attaching stuff, I highly suggest that you do that. But if you are applying where there is a application tracking system or on a website, it will usually give you like parts where you can upload your degree, upload your certificate, upload whatever it is they want you to upload. It'll have like, different parts where you click to upload certain things. But where you are sending via email, that's just my own suggestion, because I've been through that process, and I think it looks better than, reading somebody's CV and then going back to look for them in my email that's already full of 500 applications. Now I'm gonna search for your name and then see if you have attached this. No, no. You know, people who are looking at CVs, I don't mean to out anyone, but people who are looking at CVs, they have a lot of CVs to go through. That's just to put it mildly. They have a lot of CVs to go through, and any and every little thing that's sort of like irritable, that'll cause them to be irritable, or something that's just like not right. Nobody's going to spend more than 15 or 20 minutes trying to figure out your CV. So just make sure that everything is right so that the person who reads will not get annoyed while trying to, sort out your application or go through your application. Okay, so education and associations, we are done. Are we all good on that, or do we have questions? Do we have questions? Okay, if we're okay, just give me a thumbs up or something. Okay, I see there's a heart flowing, so I'm guessing that's a yes. All right, perfect. All right, it's a wrap. We are done with, the sections of the CV. We are now going to move on to the practical exercise. Woo, sharing on the screen. All right. Can we all see the CV? Can we all see my CV, my mock CV? Okay, I see no questions. Perfect. Amazing. Yes, you can see. All right. So, guys, I'm going to need some interaction on this one because I want to see that you understand. Um, yeah, I'm going to need some interaction in this one. So, I know that you have heard all the things I have been saying and that you will not be writing your CVs like this one because already from how it looks, you can already see a lot of mistakes. Who can spot any mistake on the CV? Any mistake that you can spot? Oh, let me make it 2 pages. Uh, Split screen. No. How do I do this? Um, Guys, can you guys spot any mistakes? Yeah, there we go. Okay. I see Lauren says ID number is not necessary and skills section needs to be completed and elaborated upon. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely correct. Can anybody else see any other mistakes on the CV? That is correct, you guys. Don't put your ID number. Don't do that. It's not justified. Yes. Yes. That is true. The CV is not justified. Any other mistakes that you guys are spotting? Okay, I can see that you guys have been listening and attentive in the class. I'm glad. I'm glad that's the case. I'm glad I did not waste your time. Ah, Lauren, yes, perfect. Under work experience, the nail technician part is not necessary. Absolutely, absolutely. So there's a whole lot of mistakes on the CV. First one, I see that you guys haven't spotted this one yet. It's this one. Writing curriculum vitae of no, that needs to go. Yes, Jabu, you are correct. The skills are not explained in detail. That is the mistake that's in there. And then don't include the words curriculum vitae of Shella. No, don't do that because the person who's already reading your document knows that this is a curriculum vitae. There is no confusion about it. So remove such words from your CV. So let your CV start with your name and then you can put there Johannesburg if you live in Johannesburg, email address, your LinkedIn URL, and then your phone number. Instead of your ID number, put your phone number. Right. So we can already see the top part, the curriculum vitae part needs to go, and then ID number also needs to go, and then what needs to be included in there is your phone number. The next thing is summary. So as you can already see, the summary is even looking a bit gray, and all the other things are looking black. So these things are things that your employer is going to notice very quickly. And who is this? Kilewile said that it's not justified. That is true. So you see that every other thing is in line, and then the summary part is not. It's just written in the middle. No, don't do that. Um, So you need to make sure that everything is justified. And then, like you guys have said in the skills, don't write skills like how it is right here. Write it the way I have explained earlier. And make sure that you space your work well. This thing of, you see, this point doesn't have anything. Is this cursor showing? Yeah. You see this point here on skills, it doesn't have anything. Be mindful of these things because the person who's reading the CV is going to see. So these things, like having a point that doesn't have anything because you overlooked it, no. Spacing issues, let it not be like that. And then you can put, your work experiences like job shadowing. If you job shadowed, then you can put it in there. And then you'll write what you did while you were job shadowing. So you can write in there, assisted in printing and issuing of summons in the Johannesburg Magistrate Court, attended to pretrial conferences, motion court, and consultation with clients, drafted letters of demand using the facts gathered at consultations with clients. So already the employer can see that, oh, you've had some experience consulting with clients, you have been to court, you know what it is to issue summons. So this is not to like prefer you over the other person, but rather to see what it is that you have been exposed to. Because where I worked in a very small law firm, and nobody had time to teach me everything. Like literally, everyone is so busy at that firm that when I came with some experience, it was like, okay, so you do know how to issue summons, and I'm like, yes. And they're like, okay, we are gonna have to like jump through that part because everyone is so busy, and that's not how it's supposed to be, honestly. But just them seeing that your interest in the legal profession has led to you job shadowing, and that a couple of things, but you're also going to be taught these things. If you have learned how to issue summons while you were job shadowing, you will still be taught how to issue summons if that's what you're going to be doing at that particular firm. They will be showing you how they draft certain things, because you might come knowing how to draft, let's say, letters, but they're still going to show you how they draft, because we all have different drafting styles, and every firm has their own style and their own sound. You know, when you are in the profession, you'll see that certain communication from the same firm has a certain sound, even if it's drafted by different types of people. It's because they use something called precedence, and they sort of have a template of what to write in their communication and stuff. So obviously you will be exposed to such things when you start working, because you will have to know or use the precedents that that particular firm uses, because you mustn't sound out of place. You must sound the same. Every firm has a voice, so to say. So everything that concerns them, it reads similar. Okay, I see a question there. It says, can I ask, is it necessary to write curriculum vitae on your CV, or just write your name? Don't write curriculum vitae, because the person who is reading your CV knows that this is a curriculum vitae. There's no confusion about that. They know what they are reading. So don't put it in there. All right, next experience, nail technician. That experience is not necessary. There's no point in you putting it in there. Even if you specialize, even if you're an expert, even if you won Razzle Dazzle Nail Technician of the Year, you mustn't put it in there because it distracts the reader from getting a picture of who you are. So if you're there and you're like, oh, I've won Razzle Dazzle Nail Technician of the Year for 3 years in a row, it, it distracts the reader because now they're trying to picture you as this professional person, and now the attention is now deviated to a space that's not even aligned with the legal profession. So even if you win Razzle Dazzle Nail Technician of the Year, don't put it in there. And then if you're a virtual legal assistant, you can put the virtual legal assistant at legal assistants are us. You can put stuff like that in your CV. For those of you that have had formal employment, if you are unable to, like I said in the beginning, the test is you need to show the employer that the skills that you have, or the experience that you have gained from that particular role will make you the best candidate for this role. So if the experience that you have with your formal employment does not really, make you look like the best candidate, I would shy away from putting it in there. All right. And then education and admissions, then you will write their Bachelor of Laws and whatever, qualification that you have. And this is how you write it: Bachelor of Laws, LLB degree, University of Johannesburg, or whichever university that you went through. And then, comma, you'll put there the year you attended. I mean, the year you got your qualification. And then, like I said, Razzle Dazzle Nail Technician of the Year, you don't put it in there. So Razzle Dazzle, not supposed to be in there. So that's that. We have gone through our mock CV. Now it's time for question and answers. Do you guys have any questions, not only relating to CVs and stuff, but about the profession as well? You're about to enter the profession. Do you have any questions regarding being a candidate attorney, admission, the process, law school, other questions that you might have regarding just you moving from student to candidate attorney and then later on being admitted, or even post admission questions? Do you guys have any questions? You have an attorney at your disposal who's willing to ask, who's willing to answer your questions. So fire away. Let me see if you have any questions regarding the profession or this role or whatever. Oh, and just by the way, I'm a non-practicing attorney, so you probably don't know what that is, but you will know as you go along. So there's two different types of attorneys in South Africa. You've got your practicing attorney, and then you've got your non-practicing attorney. Your practicing attorneys are the ones who are authorized to operate what is called a trust account. So that means that these are people that are able to assist communities. They're able to assist clients because when client comes to attorney, client puts money in what is called a trust account. So if somebody, for example, wants to get a divorce, and you, Lauren, you are a practicing attorney, the client comes in and they're going to put money in Lauren's trust account. So that whole process is governed heavily by the Legal Practice Council. So if you are an attorney that assists people, you are an attorney that handles divorce matters, you are an attorney that does litigation, you are an attorney that does cases like that, where clients pay you for services, then you are a practicing attorney. And then you get people like us who are non practicing attorneys, meaning that we are not authorized to handle, we are not authorized to handle people's money and help them in that capacity. So, me as a non practicing attorney, as much as I have experience as in practice and stuff, a client cannot come to me and say, Shella, please handle my divorce matter, and then I do it. I'm not authorized to do that as a non-practicing attorney. So there's different types of attorneys. You've got your practicing and you've got your non-practicing. But being a non-practicing attorney does not make you less of an attorney. It's just that you are not the one who's going to court and things like that. You might be in corporate as a non-practicing attorney because you don't have clients coming to you. You work in corporate and you're not practicing. Hence, you are a non-practicing attorney. If you are a writer like I, then you are a non-practicing attorney. Of course, if you're a practicing attorney and you want to be a writer as well, you can. But what I'm saying is that as a non-practicing attorney, I'm not supposed to receive money from clients. I'm not supposed to receive money from people for legal services. That requires a trust account. So there's a difference between practicing attorney and non-practicing attorney. But the bummer is that all of us had to go through articles. So whether you want to be practicing or non-practicing, you have to go through articles and get admitted. Only after admission can you choose to be a practicing attorney or a non-practicing attorney. So there's that. Okay, I see a question. It says, if you want to specialize in medical law, what's the route to follow? Okay, so when it comes to specializing in any area of law, this is the route to go. If you can, as best as you possibly can, fight for this. If you have made up your mind, like you have, fight to get into a law firm that specializes in medical law. Because what's going to happen is, if you just do articles anyway, let's say you do articles at Shella Attorneys Incorporated, and all I do is family law. Now you spend 2 years of your life doing articles, doing family law because you work at Shella Attorneys, and that's all we do, and that's all you're exposed to. Now having to switch to medical law is going to be so difficult because when you apply for, let's say, a post and you are admitted, you finish your articles and you are admitted, and you want to start working as a medical legal practitioner, you don't have the necessary experience. And by that time, you are already admitted. Do you get what I'm trying to say? By that time, you're already admitted and you can't redo your articles of clerkship. So, what I would say is, as best as you possibly can, get into a firm that specializes in medical law. And then that's how you'll get to specialize because all the time in your articles of clerkship, you'll be handling medical law. And then after you get admitted, that's what you're going to be continuing with. The thing that you need to be careful of, right? The thing that you need to be very, very, very extremely careful of is not broadening your horizons. Now, this I talk from, there's a colleague of mine who is in a medical law firm where they handle medical negligence and things like that. She did her articles of clerkship and she's about to get admitted. I think it's either now or she probably got admitted maybe a couple of days ago. But she was expressing to me that she was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. But now the problem is that all I know is medical law. So that switch, it's not impossible, but it's somewhat difficult because now you want to be hired as an attorney where you're going. So let's say you want to switch from medical law, you want to do general litigation. Now you're applying for jobs, and the only experience you have is medical law. People are reluctant to take you on as an attorney because they're like, we are taking you on as an attorney, but we're going to have to start training you like a candidate attorney. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's like you don't have the experience and you want to switch. It's not impossible, but I just want to show you the the difficulty that can pose. But if you are sure that you're absolutely sure that you want to do medical law, then absolutely get into a firm that specializes in that. That's the best way to go about it. Like there's literally no better way of going about this than getting into a firm that specializes in that because you'll be trained as a candidate attorney your experience will start literally from the beginning, going right up to you get admitted as an attorney. Okay, I see more questions. Thank you so much for that clarification. I didn't know there's a difference between, okay, if you're struggling to get back work and have made effort to do job simulations via Forage, like the one for Bowman's and Allen and Overy. Okay, guys, this is probably going to burst somebody's bubble, but look at smaller sized firms as well. I know the ambition of, wanting to get into a top five law firm. And that ambition is amazing. It's great. Please, with all your might, try as hard as you can to get in. But if you don't get accepted for those types of VAC works, this is what I suggest. Where you have, what is this? What is this? Like a break in your studies? Recess, yes. Where you've got recess, apply to these firms and ask to job shadow or to come and do vacation work, because with smaller sized law firms, they don't advertise this. You know why? Because they don't offer this. They really don't. I'm not gonna lie to you. Most, I'd say about 98 to 99% of small size law firms don't offer things like job shadowing. So you must be proactive and approach these attorneys. Approach them and say, I am, let's say, a student or a recent graduate, and I have zero to like no experience, and I want to see how things roll. I want to come and shadow you, even if it's for a week or even if it's for 2 weeks. Send through those emails, and because you're not getting paid for that, most people are not, easy to say no. They'd usually be like, yeah, sure, come through, but things where, you must get paid, those ones can be a bit challenging. But I would highly, 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 highly suggest that you reach out to small sized and medium sized law firms if you are not able to get into the top five law firms. Because with the top five law firms, you can't send them an email and be like, hey, can I come? And no, you can't do that. But with smaller size law firms, you absolutely can. You can reach out to law firm owners on LinkedIn. I think that's like the best way to reach out to law firm owners, because sometimes with emails land with like the firm secretary or the personal assistant, and sometimes they'll be like, oh, you know what, my boss is busy now, to bother them with this, and then the email might not get to the intended recipient. So with LinkedIn, I know that people operate their own LinkedIn profiles. So if you send a message on LinkedIn and your profile is optimized, when they check your profile, because remember, after you send that email, they check your profile. They'll check your profile. And if your profile is optimized, everything is looking professional, chances are, they'll let you come for, a couple of days or even weeks to just see how things go. Job shadowing is not really a job. It's not really a job. You're not employed. So you are not, it's not easy for someone to be like, no, don't come. No, it's nah, it's rare. It's rare. Okay. If you're special, okay. If you're struggling to get work, okay, I read that one. Is it advisable to email small and medium law firms? Yeah, asking to job shadow. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Email them, blow up their emails. Like, send through, I think if you send through, like, let's say 10 emails a day, I don't think a week will pass without some or other response. you know um yeah, even to attorneys who don't own their law firm, send emails to them, I mean, send messages to them on LinkedIn, and just be like, yo, if maybe they specialize, let's say, in property law, and you just say, I want to learn more about the field, I have no experience, I've never done this before, is it possible for me to come to work with you for a week? So yeah, absolutely do that. I encourage you to do it. And then next question is, what's your take on law firms requiring graduates to have a driver's license and a car? My take is that it is absolutely unfair, it is absolutely unnecessary. And the car thing has been scrapped by the Legal Practice Council. So if there's a law firm that has the requirement that you need to have a car, that thing has been scrapped by the Legal Practice Council. The car thing is a no-no. Like, no. But driver's license, they found that with a driver's license, that is an okay requirement to have because most law firms have cars that you're gonna have to drive to get to court. Because with this profession, you don't stay in the office like from 9 to 5. In most cases, you're gonna have to go to court as well. And if the car is providing you, I mean, if the firm is providing you with a car, then you must have a driver's license. So when it comes to the driver's license requirement, I don't see it as unfair, and also considering how much driver's licenses cost, and also costs relating to not having a driver's license or not being able to drive. Now you're going to have to take like taxis, and that's going to take much more time to get to court. Taking public transportation like Uber, I think we all know that Uber is not really the safest of transportation. I'm not saying that a car is the epitome of safety in South Africa when it comes to transportation. But when you've got your driver's license, it enables the firm to, provide you with a car, as opposed to back in the days when I was doing articles and you had to have a car, and my parents had to like struggle and scrape through everything so I can just get a car. I think there has been, a bit of development when it comes to that. But my opinion is that I think the driver's license part, I, I think the driver's license part is fair. I think the driver's license part is fair. But what's this? The car thing? Mm-mm. The car thing, no. The car thing is a no. Okay, see, okay, so it's advisable to join a firm that specializes in more than one area of law because I love family law, criminal law. Absolutely. Absolutely join a firm that's a GP. We call them GPs, a general practitioner. Now doctors are GPs. We also have lawyers that are GPs, general practitioners. They do everything. And it's usually the small ones. They do everything. You guys, they do road accident fund. They don't choose. Whatever you come, as a client, whenever you come with any matter, they will take you. So yes, I would highly, highly suggest that you join a firm that specializes in a lot of things. And also firms like that enable you to sort of like discover what it is that you really like. Because before I did my articles of clerkship, I was hell bent on the fact that I was going to be in practice. I did not think that I was going to be where I am today at all. I could not even imagine it. I could not even imagine not going to court every day. Now with COVID-19 and working from home, I can't believe that I spent about 80% of my time at home and I'm working. So, you know, how you envision your legal profession might not turn out the way you think it will, because you see other things that you like, or you see other things that might be convenient to your lifestyle and your way of life. So when it comes to, picking firms and stuff, make sure that you pick a firm that sort of like does a bit of everything. So you're exposed to, a lot of things, because the truth is that what you think you like now might not be what you like when you get admitted. So there's that. There's that. The next question is, to be a compliance officer, do you have to be admitted, or do they just require you to have an LLB degree? Okay, so you don't have to be admitted to be a compliance officer. You can get the necessary qualifications after your LLB degree. But this is what I'm going to say. What I'm going to say is that for compliance roles, I have seen that as much as you don't need to be admitted, being admitted is advantageous. Now, I was ranting all over TikTok, like, LLB degree and then compliance officer. And for me personally, I'm like, look, why do you have to be admitted? What's the point of being admitted to be a compliance officer? But the truth is that a lot of people, once they get admitted, they realize that, what, practice is not for me. And then they start moving to these roles like compliance officer and stuff like that. And the truth is that in corporate, your certifications matter. your certifications and like your admissions and stuff, all those things, they tend to matter. I saw a post on LinkedIn, I think it was a couple of months ago, where somebody was like, the best way to get into these roles, like compliance officer and things like that, is to, like, right now, you have your LLB degree, you start applying to things like banks, and then you just get your foot in, and then you do your compliance certification while you are there. To get me? So you do your certification while you are there. I think it's called the RE1 or something along those lines, RE5 or something like that. You do that while you are there, because you already have your foot in the door. Then you don't have to apply for like senior compliance roles with your admission, because you've been in there, you have been working your way up. So you don't need admission, but admission is advantageous. I hope that answers your question. Okay, do you have any other question, guys? Okay, has everyone's question been answered? Are we all good? Okay, I think that is it. Um, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I would absolutely love to connect with you. And just, expand your circle, connect with people in the profession. I always say this in my LinkedIn masterclass, that connecting with people in the profession is probably one of the greatest investments that you can make. And it doesn't even like take you 5 minutes to just send that LinkedIn request. And the more you connect with people, the more you grow your network, the more you grow your network, the more you are exposed to opportunities, the more you're exposed to opportunities, the more you know about the legal profession. And the more you know about the legal profession, the more you know that if you're suffering on one end, you can just, move and, go to another end, if you know what I mean. If you're suffering there by litigation and practicing attorney, because you have such a broad network and you can see what people are posting, you can see opportunities that are available, then you can move towards, something else and see how other people have been navigating the whole legal thing. All right, let's see. No questions this side. Thank you for the session, Tyson. You see, guys, don't put irrelevant things in your in your CV. I think I'm going to carry this name forever. I'm going to carry this name forever. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. If you guys have any more questions, I'm going to leave this live on YouTube. I'm not going to delete it. So tell your friends to tell their friends to watch the replay. And if you have any questions, if you're sleeping in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, I forgot to ask Tyson a question, just come back to the live and draft your question, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And on screen, I've got my email address, I've got my LinkedIn. You can also just write about the session on LinkedIn and tag me so that other people who are on your network can, also, see when I'm having these live sessions. And I thank you so much for joining. I hope that I do not waste your time. Did I waste your time? No, I see everyone is like, oh, it's informative. Thank you. So thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. I too don't take it for granted. The fact that you are here, the fact that you are taking time out of your busy schedule. You could have been anywhere in the world. You could have been doing anything else, but you are here with me in this live and trying to just, up your game in the profession. So I will see you on my next one if I am having a next one. Hopefully, I am. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I wish you all the best in your legal profession. And yeah, let's mingle on LinkedIn and every other space. And yes, that's it. That's it on my side. That's it on my side. Ooh. All right. Bye guys.